4 years ago, around this time, I attended my first father-daughter Winterland dance. And right before I leave with my daughter, I find out that my wife thought it was a brilliant idea to completely desecrate the purity of this first time event as a aspirational do it all die with my daughter by tramp stamping her with a fake fairy tattoo on our way out the door. And I said, babe, why don't you just put fairy wings on our daughter right now so she looks like another overdose at the Limelight back in the day waiting to happen. And then my daughter says, Daddy, relax. Stop acting so life and death about this tattoo. Worst case scenario, now I can't be buried in a fake news Jewish cemetery. Can I get a holla for going back to the well and still delivering hilarious A+ Gemry all the time, long time. Holla. Thank you very much. And you could also say that I'm very sensitive to tattoos on women, fake or not, because I totally blame Aryan-looking, cracked out whores all inked out on crystal meth today, ruining internet porn as a whole forevermore. So it's more of a golden age mounted a muff guy if you really need to know. So I was considering reading my gushing all-star review for the Great American Jew Novel by Diane Sullivan, who's been reviewing books since the dawn of time. I'm not trying to say she's like older than Yiddish, but she's got 30 years of book review experience under her belt. But then I said, you know what, that's going to be too self-indulgent. Although it would be funny to give like commentary on top of it, I'll do it down the line. But again, just want to throw it out there. For all the people that are very distraught right now during this COVID craziness, and I wrote the Great American Jew Novel right when all this COVID craziness began. You know, my attitude was now or never. And I did it. I'm glad I did. I'm moving on to my next book, The Koshertarian Diet. And before I move forward with some jokes, you know, I just want to once again, you know, thank everyone that's been a long-time listener on this podcast, and for new fans, you know, who've been embracing my flash fiction short stories as of late, such as Kosher Klaus Sushi. And because I do plan on my sixth book will be Waste of Height, a collection of short stories. And some of them will be historical fiction, some won't, but you know, it's going to be me. And I'm really excited about that development too. And I have to admit, killing on stage is great. I can't say I've had a bunch of experience doing that, but I have killed on the stages of Manhattan before, the Comedy Cellar and at Stand Up New York. However, and at the New York Comedy Club. But getting an A+ book review where your writing is described as ribald, way more titillating and way more satisfying, especially knowing that most stand-up comedians would never dare to write a novel in the first place or possess the flowy prose type skills to pull it off. Actually, when I saw ribald in my review, when Diane Sullivan was saying, the Great American Jew Novel excels in a hilarious New York exploration of the world of comedy and Jewish culture. It's sometimes politically incorrect, racy, and ribald, which means like sexually suggestive. I'm not trying to talk down to my audience here. I'm just trying to explain the fact that I actually had to Google ribald after reading this, but was overjoyed at learning what its exact meaning was. I wonder if Dice's act was ever described by a comedy nerd blogger as ribald. But let's change topics here, folks. Norway passed a law that can jail you up to 3 years for making any hurtful comments about transgenders made in a way to reach a sizable audience. What's considered a sizable audience? Are we talking gay pride parade size or an open mic crowd at a coffee shop in Wilmington, Delaware to hear some observational comedy from a stand-up Trump supporter? Stand-up Trump supporter opens with, are transgenders who support President Trump fighting against massive election fraud being banned from Twitter for tweeting, you don't need voter ID or fingerprint identification to identify Michelle Obama's build on Mike Singletary's shoulder pads. But I'll give you this much, Michelle Obama flopping it around in white long slacks on Ellen, commando style, like she don't care, was no cover-up. Joan lives. Holla. Thank you very much. Obviously, I'm really not holding out on this big-time architecture firm getting back to me on this content writing job when going after Michelle in honor of Joan. But again, like I was saying before, just thank you for anyone that's ever listened to this podcast, encouraged the podcast, anyone that's ever liked my blogs. Listen, writing can be an isolating experience. But for me, like when I write, I like to believe that I'm at one with my creator, the divine, the almighty, because he's producing stuff out of my fingertips. It's freaking way smarter and funnier and deeper than I am in real life all the time, long time. So I don't like to think I know that that's my form. It is one type of form of prayer for me, and it's a beautiful thing. But nonetheless, when you have experience like getting feedback when you've done stand-up comedy, you do open mics, and you live for laughs, and you're writing comedy with the intention of getting laughs, it really inspires you to pick up the fucking pace and inspires you to deliver the best version of you when you know that you have fans that are excited to see what you've written next. And I'm just throwing out some advice here. Why wait for publishers to get back to you? Why wait for agents forever? You got a book to write, blog it into existence. And it's a beautiful thing when you eventually complete, that goal. And it just makes you hungry for bigger conquests, and you expand your skill set. So I highly recommend the experience. So what I'm going to read to you guys right now is the mask shaming Inquisition. It's impossible to act pleased whenever my wife takes pictures of our 3 kids wearing masks when it's not Halloween in a post-woke, China placating universe gone wild. In these moments, I become what I detest the most, a triggered snowflake, yelling out to my daughter Matilda, smile! You could be America's top belly dancer now and wear a mask wherever, whenever you like. Assuming you train hard enough on your core to become a Peloton instructor in junior high. Because at that point, the entire restaurant industry will have been dead for a decade already. So all the bankable babysitting money will be kaput by then too, Matilda. You'll have 0 clubs to rave in fairy wings in looking like an overdose at the limelight waiting to happen. Smile, Matilda. You're going to be America's next top belly dancer. Assuming you put your mask on between meals to avoid snacking and socially distance yourself from carbs. Who are these kids that love to wear COVID masks? Do they identify as moderate Muslim housewives on Casual Friday? How do I get my kids used to wearing masks? I hose burning mass parties, and offer all the Hawaiian punch you could drink. The only way a feminist can get you to eat her pussy is by forcing you to wear a pussy hat mask on in public. Do these altruist mask monitors who yell at strangers to wear a mask outside on the street offer junkies clean needles to shoot up with at the local doze off wall park bench in downtown Portlandia? Are these mask crusaders at large on triple condom Raptor next time Charlie Sheen rolls the dice in Vegas at an AVN wrap-up party and forgets again how only magic can make HIV disappear? Only 6% of COVID-linked deaths are by COVID alone. So can we unmask this pandemic sham by getting Rudy Giuliani to grill some medical examiner under oath for making every death certificate list COVID as the final main cause instead of China? Giuliani says, let me guess, you took one look at your last corpse and said, he stinks like Walmart in August. I'll dump him in the COVID death pool with the rest. Wear a mask. Only if you suck off my super soaker for a super spreader deluxe, babe. Pretend Obama ordered you to leak it. Can I get a holla to break up my killer flow, to pay homage to an A+ bit from top to bottom? Holla. Thank you very much. In Haiti, they're too poor to lock down their mud mask resort economy. As a result, only 19 out of a million Haitians have gotten COVID. Wyclef could shake up the rust and clean up performing there for New Year's Eve in 2020. Wyclef does a remix cover by REM and sings, "It's the end of the world as we know it," and I feel fine about my solo career post Fugees, which didn't include jail time for tax evasion because I don't view the IRS as the Jew devil spawn like Lauryn Hill, which is fake news, man. The CEO of Costco says safety is worth the inconvenience of wearing a mask to buy more paper towels. Smile, America. Alex Jones isn't so nutty after all. This is the Doodle Daddier podcast, dad-friendly entertainment for you and me. Controlling our kids with comedy can make our kids great again. My 3 fuss-free kids, 98% of the time, are living proof of it. Books I have available for Hanukkah and Christmas and Kwanzaa. Controlling My Kids, a Comedy, a love story. Resist This. An election year comedy special. It's freaking phenomenal. Jokes you're not going to hear in Kimmel. Ever, obviously. We got Doodle Dad Does Jokes. Joan Lives. To those A+ gems as well. And now we've got the midlife crisis reinvention tale, The Great American Jew Novel, available on Amazon and Kobo. And I want to thank the President of the United States, Donald Trump, for a wonderful, incredibly touching, heartfelt thank you note that he sent me. I'd received it earlier this week. Being able to share that letter with my children was a heavy metal high I will cherish forever. It's the second time POTUS, that being the president, the Donald, has written me a thank you note. I've sent him 2 books so far, Doodle Dad Does Jokes and Resist This. It still drives me crazy that outside of him being the most amazing patriot and him being such a great president that cares about our vets and Israel, which have always been real biggies for loving him. But on top of that, and him, raising really good kids, who love him and respect him and have been by his side, throughout everything. But even more so than that, him being from Queens, from New York, like myself, President Trump is so hilarious, and he really should be leaving most stand-up comedy headliners in perpetual awe at what he's able to do as far as making up stories at the top of his head and being able to, come up with like funny nicknames. And he is just a freaking animal. And he makes me very proud to be a New Yorker. And I know I'm not the only one. So thanks again, POTUS, for keeping my dreams afloat. And I'll keep punching because I know you will. And I'll talk to you guys soon.